Before we get into this story, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel and drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those moments in women's college basketball that goes way beyond wins, losses or box scores. This is about identity, resilience, and what happens when a player who represents the soul of a program is suddenly forced to fight a battle no one prepares you for. Chloe Kitts' season being thrown into jeopardy didn't just shock South Carolina fans, it sent a ripple through the entire women's basketball landscape, because Chloe Kitts isn't a headline chaser. She's not the loudest voice on social media. She's the steady presence, the competitor who shows up every day, does the dirty work and holds the standard when no cameras are rolling. And that's why this moment hits harder than people realize, because when a player like Chloe Kitts goes down, you don't just lose production, you lose emotional balance, you lose trust, you lose a piece of the program's heartbeat. And for a team built on discipline, toughness and unity that loss carries weight, Chloe Kitts came into this season knowing exactly what it meant. It was supposed to be about leadership, about experience, about finishing strong and helping guide another championship caliber group through pressure moments. She had already proven herself as someone Dawn Staley could trust in any situation, guarding bigger players, switching onto guards, battling on the glass, and never backing down from physical play. She wasn't chasing awards, she was chasing impact. And then everything changed, not in a dramatic televised moment, not with flashing lights, but quietly, the kind of moment that turns an athlete's world upside down in seconds. Suddenly the conversations weren't about rotations or matchups, they were about timelines, rehab and uncertainty. And for veteran players, that shift is brutal, because your sense of self has been tied to competing at the highest level, and now you're asked to sit, watch and wait. And that's where the mental battle begins, the part fans rarely see, the frustration of wanting to help but being unable to, the fear of falling behind, the doubt that creeps in late at night. And that's exactly why when Chloe Kitts' family finally spoke, it mattered so much, because instead of panic or bitterness, what came out was clarity, resolve and purpose. They made it clear that Chloe made a conscious decision not to disappear, not to distance herself from the team, not to mentally check out, but to stay fully engaged, to remain present, to support her teammates and to lead in a different way. And that choice says everything about who she is as a competitor and as a person, because not everyone can handle the transition from contributor on the floor to leader on the sideline, especially in a program where expectations are sky high and every game feels like a test. But Chloe Kitts embraced it. Her family emphasized that this wasn't about feeling sorry for herself, it was about reframing the mission, understanding that while her role had changed, her value had not. And inside a program like South Carolina, that mindset carries serious influence, because Dawn Staley has always preached that culture wins championships, and culture doesn't disappear when injuries happen, it's sustained by people who refuse to let standards drop. And Chloe Kitts is one of those people. Even without playing, she still shows up in practice, she still talks, communicates and pushes teammates, she still studies film and offers insight, she still represents what South Carolina basketball is supposed to look like, and that matters more than fans might think, especially for younger players learning how to handle adversity at this level. Watching a veteran respond with grace and determination sends a powerful message. Now make no mistake, the on-court loss is real. South Carolina has to adjust rotations, matchups and roles, because you don't just replace Chloe Kitts' versatility, her ability to guard multiple positions, her physicality, her awareness. Those things take time to replicate, and even then they're never exactly the same. But what doesn't change is the expectation, and part of that is because Chloe remains part of the daily environment. And as her family pointed out, the focus right now is not rushing back, not forcing timelines, but doing this the right way. Rehab is lonely, repetitive and mentally exhausting. You celebrate tiny wins that no one sees, you grind through days that feel the same, and you fight the constant urge to compare where you are now to where you were before. And that's the test Chloe Kitts is facing, and according to her family, she's approaching it the same way she approaches basketball, with discipline, patience and competitiveness. She understands that the goal isn't just to return, it's to return healthy, confident and ready to compete without hesitation. And that perspective is critical, because the next phase of her career, whether that's a return to the court or a redefined path forward, depends on how well this process is handled. And that's why this moment could ultimately strengthen her legacy rather than diminish it, because legacy isn't just about what you do when everything is going right, it's about how you respond when everything is taken away, how you lead when you can't play, how you represent your team when you're not in uniform, and how you fight back when the road gets uncomfortable. Those are the moments coaches, teammates and evaluators remember, and people around women's basketball are watching closely, because they know players who survive moments like this often come back mentally tougher, more self-aware and more impactful in ways that stats can't capture. Chloe Kitts' story right now isn't about tragedy, it's about transition, it's about resilience, and it's about a competitor refusing to let injury define her ending. And for South Carolina, it's another reminder that their program is built on more than talent, it's built on people who choose to uphold the standard no matter the circumstances. So now the question shifts from what was lost to what can still be gained. What kind of leader will Chloe Kitts become through this process? How will this experience shape her future? And how will this team respond knowing one of their emotional anchors is fighting alongside them in a different way? Those answers won't come overnight, but one thing is already clear: this story is far from over, and when Chloe Kitts takes her next step, whether on the court or beyond, it will be backed by perspective, strength and a level of respect that only comes from enduring moments like this. And now I want to hear from you. Do you believe adversity like this can elevate a player's legacy? Do you think leadership off the court carries the same weight as performance on it? And how big of a challenge is this moment for South Carolina as they move forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because stories like this are why women's basketball continues to grow. And when Chloe Kit's next chapter unfolds, you won't want to miss it.